my WrestleMania 31 review. It's that time of the year that has come and gone. And now let's talk about what we felt about this WrestleMania, what was good, what was bad, what was ugly or disgusting. Opening of the entire thing, and this is what I wish the WWE would understand. They talk about 4 hours of wrestling. It's more than 5. That is exhausting to watch, ladies and gentlemen. Let's be honest here. You don't always have to have a huge amount of content to be good. Sometimes a small amount of content can really be more meaningful. Quality over quantity. And let's be honest, this show was a lot of quantity. And it did have some quality in it, but it was a lot more than it should be. The opening of the kickoff was the... I'm going to say this before I start this. When it comes down to the Fatal 4-Way, it could have been left out of the kickoff show. We could have had just the Battle Royal. It would have been better just to have the Battle Royal, because then you could have focused on it more. Instead of so much fill of them talking and showing videotapes, you could have, video packages, you could have just focused on the Battle Royal and give that a good showing. And really hype the people up. But throwing two matches on that show brought it down for me personally, because it was just too much crushed into a small amount of time. And that I don't understand with the WWE. You have all that time. You don't do a lot of good matches on that show. You do nothing but pre-tapes, and you take away from those matches. When you look at the Fatal 4-Way, it could have been left out. But I will say this. Naomi got her spot. She jumped out of the ring onto 2 guys, kicking their ass, and giving a rear view directly to Natalia's face. That's something that many people want to dream of with Naomi. She had her moment, even though it wasn't a real WrestleMania moment. And I'm being honest here. But when you look at Kid and the Cesaro, I didn't expect them to lose the titles at all. But I'm hoping that Jey Uso's alright, because he has been having shoulder problems supposedly. The question is going to be, if he's out, what does Jimmy do? Does he actually become a singles wrestler or not? That is going to be a question that we'll find out in the next couple of days, weeks. Now, the Battle Royal. I was not happy to see the ending at first. While I was looking at WrestleMania 31, I had to think about it. And I thought, you know what? It was actually the right thing to do what they did. The Andre the Giant Memorial Cup really at this moment is not being utilized properly, because whoever gets it doesn't get spotlighted. Look at Cesaro last year. They did not do it. He should have been a face. And they turned his ass into a heel, which fucked him over seriously when it came to Paul Heyman. He shouldn't have been teamed with Paul Heyman, mainly because he should never have been turned into a heel. He should have been turned into a face. But when you look at this show, Damien Sandow was the one who truly shined. Next to Bo Dallas being stupid enough to throw somebody out, run around the ring, get back in, and they're thrown out again. But when you look at this, Damien Sandow, I'm not saying Mizdow anymore, I'm saying Damien Sandow, the intellectual savior of the masses, goes right back to where he begins. He does not agree with The Miz, because him, The Miz, and The Big Show are last. The Miz gets his ass chucked out and elbow to the face. That's the way you do it. This is the reason why The Miz is the best heel they have. He just is. And in the end, Damien Sandow faces The Big Show in the ring. I know everybody would have liked to see Damien Sandow win, but you know what? I think it would have been better he didn't win. Because if he had won that Memorial Cup, he would not get the spotlight he deserves. Leave it out, let him have the rivalry with The Miz, and keep it at that. And oh, The Miz and him kicks out Alex Riley. Why? Why it had to be Alex Riley kicked out by The Miz and Damien Sandow? Why? Riley comes back into the ring after being commentating for how many years? He was forced into commentation. He deserved better than that. But we're going to go from there. Now, I'm going to talk about the matches I felt that was terrible. The first one is the Bellas versus AJ and Paige. Now, see it in disrespect. The women got paid. They got their money. They go out there and perform. They get good money. Now, if I'm going to be honest here, the match quality was not bad. They did some decent work. But this is the thing that a lot of people don't hear. There's no feud. They got a tag match when there should have been a Divas Championship. The WWE does not care about their women at all. If they're going to go by where they're supposed to be a compelling storyline, Naomi and Natalya had a better storyline because they were Total Divas in this shit. Nothing was there in that feud. Nothing for Paige, nothing for AJ, and definitely nothing for the Bellas. And I'm not a Bella fan. I don't give a damn about the Bellas. If they stay or go, I'm not against them. I always say this, anyone who goes into that ring, I respect them. If they're a jerk, if they're a bitch, or whatever, you get into that ring, that takes a certain somebody's attitude. It is not easy doing that work. But I see it like this. The Bellas, if you're going to be honest here, no matter how much you may not like them, if it was supposed to be the truth here, they should have had a match between each other for the Divas Championship. Brie versus Nikki. Now, do I believe that that would have been a terrible match? Yeah, it might have been a terrible match, but it would have made sense. This made no sense. And seeing that the only person the crowd truly loved there was not Paige, but AJ, makes it even worse. The one who needs the best rub out of that is Paige, not AJ, not Brie, and definitely not Nikki. Even though she got some big boobs, why I understand that John Cena likes. But you get my point. The person that should have had the pin didn't get it. This is sad. You want to make a bet when this Raw comes up? Somebody's going to get a shot at the Divas Championship, and somebody's probably going to win. And I'm talking about AJ. AJ or Paige will probably get the shot at the title, unless it's going to be Brie, which will make no damn sense. You get my point. Now the next match that I really hated, but was still a good match, was the IC Championship ladder match. And I know I'm going to say, what? Yes. You know why? Because the people in there did not get a rub at all. Dolph Ziggler didn't get a good rub out of that. Daniel Bryan definitely didn't get a rub out of it. R-Truth, Stardust, Bad News Barrett, you name them, they did not get a good rub out of this. And the person who won, if you're beyond happy that he won that championship, you really need to reevaluate what's going to happen to this man. I will be doing the debate a week that'll probably come after this. How screwed is Daniel Bryan? I think I might use that title because he's not going to gain anything from that title. I understand why he did it. They want to give him something to do that'll make the crowd happy. Giving him a title run will make them happy. Now, the only reason that it's not the US Championship is because John Cena was after it. That's why he got the IC Championship. But when you look at this, Daniel Bryan is not going to gain anything from this unless they truly going to push him back into the main title, which I don't believe they're going to do. I hope they do, but I don't believe they will. And then later in the night, you see Pat Patterson, Roddy Piper, Bret Hart. You got Steamboat. Oh, man. And the Nature Boy. Woo! I was happy to see them all. And it was a nice touch to try and validate his win. But he's not going to get anywhere with that damn title. I hope I'm wrong, that it actually will springboard him back into the World Heavyweight Championship title run. But I don't see it. Now, the next thing I'm going to talk about, which was sad. Steph and Triple H versus The Rock and Ronda Rousey. I'm not a big MMA fan. I have seen it, and I had heard about her, and I have seen some of her matches. She is one of the toughest women there is. And on top of that, she's beautiful. Oh my goodness. That woman is like the girl next door beautiful. If no one's ever thought about it, if you look at her, she looks like the girl next door. The girl that makes the apple pie. The girl that you want to marry and pop so many babies into her that she becomes so fat no one would go near her but you. You say, yes, this is the love of my life because I made her mine. No offense, but you get my point. But the problem with this WrestleMania moment, that is a good one. It makes you wish Ronda Rousey is in the Divas division. This is what hurts. Shamrock could not make it. Brock Lesnar did make it. When it comes to Kurt Angle, he made it. Who says someone that has that type of caliber could not make it into WWE, but it doesn't mean she's going to enter unless she actually is going to go on the roster. But she's not. And seeing her there, I loved it, but it made me upset for the simple reason she's not going to be on the roster. Unless they manage to sign her up, which I don't think they have. It was a nice spot. It was, but it was upsetting for me. Here's another match that was upsetting. Bray Wyatt versus The Undertaker. I know you're going to say, dude, that was a wonderful and great match. It was. But 1 year too late. See it like this, ladies and gentlemen. You have The Undertaker. A guy who had a streak that was so prevalent for 22 years. That, well, 21 years last year. That it paralleled things that you never imagined. It was a legend. As I always said, that streak was a fucking belt. That's how great it was. And the problem was they gave that away to someone who's a part-time worker. I saw Brock Lesnar interview about him resigning. And he said it simply, I'm happy, I got exactly what I want. I work part-time at full pay. It's not what everybody else wants, which is true. And I'm not knocking Brock. He earned it because he worked his ass off in everything he's done. But I'm looking at it from a future standpoint. Brock is in his 30s, nearing 40. He's not young. And we needed someone in their 20s to really get over, to build up. And I believe the Slug Daddy said it best. This is a lose-lose situation for Bray Wyatt. If he won against The Undertaker, people will be upset at him for beating The Undertaker. And this is the second time he lost. If The Undertaker won, as much as you think he would get a rub from it, he wouldn't, because he has no streak behind his match. This is just an ordinary match with a 50-year-old guy who has nothing to offer except his presence. And mind you, it is an incredibly great presence, which comes around once a year. But it should be more. And that hurt me. I loved the match. I enjoyed seeing Bray Wyatt against The Undertaker. They did a good job together. Admittedly, The Undertaker looked pretty winded. Of course, he's not like he used to be. And this is the reason why I really wish this happened last year and Bray Wyatt won that belt. That streak, as I said. But this is what we got. The question is, what happens to Bray Wyatt now? Kind of like what happened with Rusev. And I'm going to Rusev right now. John Cena versus Rusev. Opening for Rusev was very good. The crowd not wanting to cheer at all. They booed. Seeing that Rusev comes up on, I think, an American Abrams tank with a Russian gun on it. It was probably from Hollywood because they were in California. They can rent something like that. The guys marching down with Lana, which were not in proper step. They should have gotten good guys that actually could step together or practice. But it was good. Here's my problem. John Cena's entrance. The video pack was beautiful. And even if you didn't like Barack Obama, or if you did like him, they showed him but once. And that was the wisest thing to do. As far as I can tell, they only showed him once. They showed every president other than him more than once. So it was okay. Here's the problem. Where was the fucking military for him? What the fuck? Think about it for a minute. You let Rusev come down in a tank and a crowd of soldiers that seemed to be from the Russian Federation. Or if you're going to say the Soviet Union or the Soviet Federation. But there's nothing for John Cena. He comes down alone like an idiot. You couldn't let him have some, what? Some Army Rangers? Some Marines? Some Navy SEALs? You couldn't have all the branches of the military come down with them, people dressed as one of the branches to represent America? WWE, you missed the boat on that. That was stupid. But was the match bad? No. It was actually a good match. But why the hell did Lana decide to try and throw her shoe to hit John Cena in the head when even the commentators could not sell this? Since she missed, it didn't work. She should never did it. But when you look at this, this is what we got. John Cena wins over Rusev. Now, I made a video a while ago, a debated week, on how Rusev is being rushed. I'm not going to connect it to this. But I said in that video, if you look for it, I said that the basic scenario is Rusev is going to meet John Cena at WrestleMania. I said that in October. So I was right about this. I knew Rusev was going to meet John Cena and John was going to win. Now it makes sense for John to win because essentially we're trying to do the American thing. Let him have the title. That's what I wanted. I wanted John in the lower tier. Let other people be in the upper tier. Let them be in the World Championship for a while he stays in the lower championship, and hopefully he will deal with other people there. Doesn't mean he will, but that's what I'm hoping for. Now, I'm going to do 2 more matches and I'm finished. One is Sting versus Triple H. Now, for me, that was the match of the night. It was. Seeing Sting out there and the band, well, the guys who are basically doing the drums, I believe I have seen them in New York. Usually once a year in New York, when we have our New York City Marathon, there's a group of people who come there to perform. And I believe that group of people was one of them. So I have seen them before. So it was nice to see that we're given that moment. Seeing Triple H as a Terminator, what the fuck? And Arnold coming out. It's time to get terminated. I'm not doing the exact thing, but you get my point. It was hilarious. Was it good? It wasn't bad. I enjoyed it. Seeing him come down after he threw away the skulls and took off the helmet. Dude. It had a big feel. It did. I enjoyed the hell out of the match. Mind you, Sting's not the way he used to be. So he did look easily winded. He just doesn't have it in him like he used to. But Triple H did compensate, and then the NWO, oh my goodness, the NWO comes down, then DX comes down. You know the person I really wanted to come down before them? Booker T. I felt if there was no NWO, I thought he needs some help. Booker T, come from fucking commentary down for his ass, boy. That's what I thought. Booker T should be the one to run down there and say, I'm going to be in his floor. I'm in his corner. I'm his friend. I would have liked to see that. But they did show the NWO who he had to deal with, which is fine. Once Triple H won, and I think Triple H might have been... If there's something going to happen with The Rock and Triple H, fine. But if there's nothing, I really, really believe it would have been better for Sting to win. It'll give him something he deserves, a WrestleMania moment. He earned it. Triple H has enough. But at the end, they shook hands and then they moved on. I do believe that it was the best match of the entire show. For me personally. But I do believe Triple H shouldn't have won it. It should have gone to Sting. At least Sting, if he's going to perform a little bit more in the WWE, not on a full, limited basis like Brock Lesnar, he needs something to do. He needs something to build on top of. And now that he lost, I felt that was stupid. He should have won it. But it was the best match of the night. Finally, Brock versus Roman Reigns. Whew. This is a big one here. We all knew there might be a swerve at the end of the match and Seth won. That was the swerve. But in between that time and the beginning of the match, it was damn good. Seeing Brock bloodied the way he did, seeing how he, to a point, didn't need to struggle, but he was dominant, made me feel that he went from face to heel instantly. He's instantly now a face. This is what the WWE did not want until now. To turn him from heel to a face. Now that Seth Rollins has the title, Brock Lesnar, for whatever limited time he's going to be performing, is going to go after Seth to get his title back. And he will be a face now. A badass face that will destroy you. And the person who's the odd man out is Roman Reigns. It is sad to see Roman having the job to Seth. I didn't want to see that. But that's what we got. And everyone was so happy to see Roman Reigns not win. But you know what? He deserved to win that. He did. Because under the circumstances, as much as he wasn't ready, he was the best person we had. And Daniel Bryan does not count, ladies and gentlemen. If it did, why is he going after the IC Championship? Why did he win it? He should not be there. But Roman Reigns did deserve to be there. Because he came back earlier than Daniel Bryan. He had time to build himself up before Daniel Bryan came back. He went for the Royal Rumble, which he deserved. He beat Daniel Bryan, and then he went to Brock Lesnar. Honestly, was this a good show? It was a decently good show. But I did feel like with 2 matches, the outcomes were wrong. For the simple reason, Bray Wyatt should not be this right now. He should have had it last year. And when it comes to Sting and Triple H, let's be honest, folks. Triple H has had so many WrestleMania moments, he could have let Sting win this. Now what happens with Sting? If he disappears again and then comes back whenever he wants, it just feels empty. But I love that match. And I hope you did too. Now I hope you enjoyed the Zane view. Please give me a comment below. And if you wonder if I'm doing okay, I'm a little better now after what happened with my cat, Susanna, that died. If you have any kind comments, it would be nice to hear it. You guys have a good day and have a good night. And look for my debate of the week. They will be coming out in the next couple of days. Peace!